Today we're looking at the Wild, a new range of vans by Windsor based off the popular Genesis. I'm looking at a 22-foot bunks van.
And I'm looking at the 196RD, which in Caravan speak means a 19-foot 6 rear door couples van.
The 22 mid-door has a front island bed, a mid-door, a centre kitchen and a rear ensuite that is split shower and toilet opposite a pair of bunks. Importantly, this van comes in well under $100,000 and does have a semi-off-road designation. So this is the sort of van you can take around Australia with your family if you plan carefully.
The Wild 196, it's a 19-foot 6 van, which is the most popular size for a couples tourer. And it's a rear entry front bedroom, which is also the most popular layout. So the bedroom's up the front for a bit of privacy, full ensuite down the back, and in the middle there's the living space with a lounge and a pretty decent kitchen.
So John, at the factory, it appears the Wild range uses pretty much the same construction across all the models. Tell us a bit about it.
Yeah, look, I think that's a good idea because the Genesis, it's a composite construction and we really like that. You know, I think it's the way of the future and they've done a really good job with it. So like changing the body didn't make any sense, but what they've done is they've beefed up suspension and the chassis. We've now got a 150 chassis, galvanised chassis running back to the suspension, and from there back we've got a 100mm and 100mm riser. So a really beefy chassis made by Hilton Chassis in Melbourne, who do a really good job. And so, you know, that construction up the top, it's full composite roof and walls. They've beefed up the production processes and the quality control with the Wild. So it really will be something that's going to be capable of running off-road. The suspension's also been upgraded to Cruisemaster's CRS, which is their country road suspension. So it's a trailing arm and it'll give you the ability to travel over corrugated roads and down those, what Australia calls highways, but you know, without having any trouble. So yes, it is the sort of caravan that you'd be quite happy to take around Australia.
I'm liking the DO35, great off-road hitch and a quality jockey wheel, although the jockey wheel is a bit of a tight fit around the handbrake cables. I also noticed there was an external shower on the far side, gas califont and twin 9-kilo bottles. Yep. So should be okay for quite a long stay if you want some hot water.
I think they've also upgraded the wheels, so big alloy wheels with all-terrain tyres, which makes it look better and also will be better on those rough roads. Tim, I'm liking these big windows, especially here with the view of the lake out there. It looks really good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, and the fit and finish in here is pretty good. The cabinetry is CNC cut wood, I'm okay with that. What really stands out for me is the 2-metre ceiling. Right? It's great to have a caravan that I can fit into. If you've got a growing family, you know, there's a lot of space in here. The other things that stood out to me looking around was I'm a big fan of the 3-way fridge, the size of it, and the fact that it can run off gas. And the way the bunks are tucked in, you know, on the side of the van, giving the kids a lot of privacy. Yeah, I reckon this is quite a good layout, and I reckon, you know, again, for well under 100 grand, I think it's, yeah, pretty sensational.
Yeah, what I like, and you don't see it even in a lot of family vans, is a lounge that can actually take 2 adults and 2 kids. That's really good, and a really good sized table. The bed access is good. There's storage under the bed and there's plenty of cupboards everywhere, you know, big overheads, big cupboards up around over the bed and to the side. Those side hanging lockers are quite deep. And I like the little nook where you've got space for your chargers and all that sort of thing. It's a good layout, it's popular and it makes a lot of sense.
And the fit and finish is exactly the same between the two of them. Obviously in the van you're looking at, the 19, it's a bit shorter, so the lounge is a bit smaller. And then the en-suite's a different layout, but between the two of them, you know, what we see is pretty good.
I like the idea of the 3-way fridge as well. I think it gives you a bit more self-sufficiency. You know, we haven't got a huge power pack in this van. but we've been in it for the last couple of days and everything's been running perfectly on, the fridge has been running perfectly on gas, there's plenty of hot water, and there's enough battery power for lights and radios and all that sort of thing. So the gas does give you better self-sufficiency if you're not going to go with a big expensive electronics power pack.
Yeah, you're right. I've looked at a lot of vans lately that have gone gasless, and installations of some of the battery systems in them are over 20 grand. And for a family, that's a big pill to swallow. So to be able to still comfortably run a fridge, run your hot water off grid for a lot of days with twin nines is really good. You're right about the self-sufficiency from a power point of view. It's only got a couple of panels up top, not huge wattage, and a single AGM battery, but there is an option pack you can buy to add an extra, I think it's 5 grand, to more than double your capacity for solar and go to lithium. You could do that, but without adding an inverter as well, I don't really see the point. This is what caravans were, and it still works. You don't have to have everything if you're conscious and careful when traveling.
Yeah, I think there is the option there for another battery and some more solar. I like the fact they've already got the battery in the tunnel boot, so it's separated from the living space, which makes it legal for the coming ADR compliance. But as it is, I think that most families would be happy with it as it is here.
Yeah, there's enough in this van. So John, in terms of towing, we've come up down from Brisbane down to Maroon Lake and done a lot around Mount Barney and the like. How'd you go with your trusty 200 and what do you reckon is the right fit for the 196?
Look, I think it needs to be a pretty decent tow vehicle. It's got an ATM of 3.5 tonnes, so that's pretty hefty. If you're going to load it up, it needs a bit of power. I like, well, a Land Cruiser obviously. It's a pretty decent tow vehicle. It's pretty much the go-to thing these days. It towed really well. Like along the highway, no trouble sitting on the speed limit 100 k's. Around the mountains, the weight of it up that Mount Lindsay road, you could certainly feel it, and it was really rough on that road. But the car handled it. The van felt all right. There's no banging, there's no pitching. It's quiet. It tows really quite well, I think. Over some of the pitchy sort of rough roads, you can feel it moving around, but I think that's going to be the case with every caravan.
For me, the 220 mid-door, it's a family van. It's targeted on price. So I think fuel efficiency is going to be a big thing, and quite impressively, I was seeing 16s in the D-Max, so 16 litres per 100. I've seen those sort of fuel efficiency or better with D-Maxes before, so I wasn't hugely surprised there. Same as you though, 3,500 kilo ATM.
Yeah,
you need a decent. You need a decent vehicle. I'd suggest a Ute or an SUV for my one. I prefer towing with an SUV, just it rides a little bit better. But with something like a D-Max, you've got the flexibility of gear in the back as well.
Yeah, you certainly beat me on fuel economy. This has had the Tough Dog GVM upgrade, and it's got a lot of gear in it. So, I'm lucky to get low 20s really towing this van. It's better than my van, but not by much. Well, we've been travelling around these vans and crawling all over them for a couple of days. What do you think of the family van?
I just want to emphasise again, what really stands out is it's well under 100 grand, and it's a well-built van with a construction methodology I really like. I like composite, and it has the room to grow for a family, like great headroom, decent sized bunks, and being 22 foot, there's enough space in there for the kids around the lounge like you mentioned. I think for a family who's buying on price, like where it's really important for them, they're budgeting, this is a really good option.
Yeah, look, I'm with you. I like composite construction, and this is a good quality composite. So it's going to last, and it's light, and it makes sense from a thermal and a sound insulation point of view. The 19'6", it's a quintessential Australian couples touring van. Kitchen in the middle, bedroom up the front for a bit of privacy, good ensuite down the back, and a sensible size. 19'6", it's not too big, you can tow it around with most four-wheel drives. Yeah, so I really like this thing. I think it makes sense.